So I'm telling you, we are working on a very important project. I love fish, and to cook fish, it's always very interesting to me. It's a real adventure. And I went to the shop after losing my gray hat, going to the gallery of modern Italian art. And after that, I went to the shop and I saw something I never seen before, and that is called sea bream. Yeah, I never seen that before. I have no idea what kind of fish that is. So I brought it home and okay, let's taste it, I said. So the original idea was to do it in the oven, put a little oil on it, salt and pepper, and that's it. Not to make it too complicated. And then when I was opening it, these boneless fillets, I noticed that there is an explanation how to how to make it, how it would taste the best. And it said to use a pan. I never used pan before for fish, and I said, okay, let's do it. And it also said it takes 5 minutes. Well, what I wanted to do is like put it in the oven for 20 minutes, and well, we see what's gonna happen. In the meantime, the others watching the news. So this is a very real case, and maybe I'm gonna share it with you while we waiting here. So no, let me start from somewhere else. So we're watching now a series called Body of Proof, and this is amazing actually because it takes place. It's set in Philadelphia, and the very first time I went to the U.S. after New York, that was the first thing I've seen. Philadelphia, very very European city, very interesting. I will remember it forever. And that TV series takes place in Philadelphia, and the main character name is Dr. Megan Hunt. And just yesterday we watched the episode where Dr. Megan Hunt's mother, who is a judge, loses her job basically over a case where all the evidence is leading to a decision that the lady is innocent, so she can walk. But the public opinion is that she is guilty. And so that was yesterday in what we were watching, Body of Proof. We were watching it on Disney Plus. So what happened is that right now, while I'm cooking, the other is watching real news, and the subject matter is very very similar. So what happened here, that I'm obviously based in London, but I'm from Hungary, Eastern Europe, and this case is a Hungarian case. And what happened is that a kid, I don't know how you call him, he's 19 years old, so basically he's a kid, got 12 years. 12 years, which is, when you're like 19, 20, that is a very, very long time. So what happened is that his name is Adam. This is what they shared in the media. So his name is Adam. He got in a very interesting situation because he was living with not with her mother, but with his mother, not with his mother, with his grandma. And the grandma was doing all right. And then 1 minute to the next, the health of the grandma is started to deteriorate. So it's getting worse and worse and worse. So the grandma got to the hospital, and the hospital let the grandma go home to this 90 years old kid. And I 1 second. Okay, so the others helped me out here. because the hospital let the grandma go home and told the kid that from now on he needs to check the blood pressure. He never done anything like this before. He need to check the blood pressure, the blood sugar, and it need to feed the grandma, bring her drinks, do the clothing her good, do everything, because the grandma couldn't do anything at all by herself anymore, and handle her schedule, for the physiotherapists, for going to the doctors, and handling all the medication and everything like that. So this 19 years old kid who never done anything this before obviously couldn't do it, and because he had a very bad background, behavioral problems, and all sort of personality disorders, didn't do anything at all. So basically, the grandma died, and now the judge. So this is a real story. It's happening right now, and the judge decided that the kid is guilty and gonna get 12 years for this because didn't look after the grandma. This is so not fair, because how a kid would know how to do all these things that the hospital just put on his shoulder, has said, okay, from now on, this is your duty, this is your responsibility. 19 years old, whose life is about partying and drugs and alcohol and gambling and all that stuff. And 1 minute to the next, okay, now you're basically a nurse. So yeah, I got 12 years. The hospital shouldn't let the grandma go at all. So there is a very similar case, a real case. So this is not a TV series or something like that, out of a body of proof. So it's a very similar case that happened in North Hungary, in a city called Miskolc. What happened there? That one guy who was unemployed and all the rest was you know got the elderly relative on his care, and obviously he had no such an education, he had no idea how to do it. And actually in that case, the guy was cooking for this elderly relative, but placed the food next to her, and the lady was unable to feed herself, couldn't move her hands, to touch the plate, touch the cutlery, and and transfer the food from the plate to her mouth. No, she couldn't do it. So what happened is that basically she was surrounded by food, and still she starved to death. And in that case as well, the guy who had no previous education, no course, nothing, nobody told him how to take care of the elderly, got a prison sentence as well. So this is there's quite common thing right now in Hungary, and this is so the society needs to change and handle this kind of cases, the cases of the elderly who needs 24 hours care. That should be handled differently. That should definitely change. Otherwise, we're gonna get this kind of cases over and over again.